We know that just about every person that we meet is either dealing with kind of a photo chaos situation, all the stuff they have, and then on top of that, things that they have or will inherit.
About a year ago, we took the words photo estate and created it into a product, the end product of the work that we do. We took those words and decided we're going to lead the country in a new way of looking at the importance of saving family photos and video. A photo estate is a collection of photos, films, slides, negatives, memorabilia, family documents that's organized in a manner that allows people to view the content and share and celebrate the memories for their lifetime plus generations to come.
My name's Kira Henschel. I am president and CEO of Henschel House Publishing here in Milwaukee. And I also helped Molly and Ann put their book together. I don't know if you want to hold that up. I don't. Yes, so it's really been fun working with them, and I have a big photo mess to take care of. So when they offered this, it was great. I think I have some photographs of my great-great-grandfather who traveled from Italy to Japan in 1893. So I have some photos from that, and that goes, a couple generations back.
You decided to do a photo estate and any of the other options here available at Excelogy.
It was a good opportunity to get things in one place and to provide access. I still have relatives in Austria, and they might want to see some of the pictures. I have one daughter, and she's a photo nut, so she's taking pictures all the time. And I think she would like to know more about her history and more about my parents and my grandparents.
Let's talk about the blessing that it is. You have brought together what we would consider a complete photo estate. So this is your family, your personal stuff,
Yes.
your mom's stuff,
Yes.
and your grandmother's stuff,
And my dad's stuff.
and your dad's stuff. So you have literally are creating a family photo archive that is going to go back, just from what you have here, we're going to be looking at going back at least 3, probably 4 generations,
Yes.
and possibly a glimpse into 5 if your grandmother has any grandmother stuff. We've obviously been through this a little bit already, just as we got the initial kind of, let's put all the film over here and video and so on and so forth. So you have a little bit of almost every media type. So these are pretty much some standard questions as we start to figure out how we're going to make this manageable in the future.
Okay.
That is her father.
That's my
At
father.
18 months old, which is really exciting. So of course, when we see a picture like that, we turn it over to see what the information is on the back.
And there is hair from when he was 18 months old. And then this is his graduation picture. I have no idea what's behind it. Saeed, these two went to medical school together.
See, everything is a story. Yeah. And this is why we're doing it and you're not, because the memories are just kind of stop you in your tracks, don't they?
Sort of. But yeah.
It's the story of our lives, right?
It is. So thank you guys for helping with this. I'm really, really excited about it.
We were meant to work with each other,
Yeah.
Thank you for saying
I
that.
really,
Yeah.
I feel blessed to.
Yeah. To have been connected. Yeah.
It sounds like a relatively simple process when we talk with people. However, their eyes get big and we can see how overwhelmed people are. Basically, we teach that you bring all of your photos and documents and memorabilia, videos to one location. So once it's all brought to one location, then we break it down by major category, which often is decades or family groups. Then we break it down into subcategories.
Photos are so stinking heavy.
Heritage, portraits. During that process, we remove duplicates and remove, hopefully, the repetitive pictures.
Oh my goodness. That's
cool.
really cool.
All right, I got my bin done before you.
Your bin was smaller.
Then it's ready for scanning, for digitizing. And we scan the photos and slides and documents and prepare it for an archive, both a printed archive and a digital archive. The printed archive is a photo book, for instance, with the lives documented with highlights of all of their materials. And then the digital archive is a forever permanent storage account.
Well, and in the meantime, while all of that is going on with your printed media, so your slides, your photos, your family documents, your memorabilia, at the same time, in a separate process, we are organizing and digitizing anything that is a different type. So your videotapes, your reel-to-reel film, your audio cassettes, anything that has kind of a moving component to that. And all of those pieces come together at the end to create that photo estate that would then go into Forever and be organized there to match what we have in the printed archive. It becomes a very easily interacted estate that you can start sharing with your children, grandchildren, even other relatives across the world.
I found Pixology through a random search online. I was trying to figure out how to coordinate some of my photographs and photo albums at home, and I started searching photo archive businesses, and Pixology stood out as a highly ranked business. I wanted Pixology to work with my collection to create a photo estate because I actually have a home scanner, and I went through a lot of the pictures leading to a family reunion. And so I was reaching out to Pixology to try to work on a photo estate to try to bring some order to my life, because after the family reunion and the pictures that I had put together, I realized it was such an overwhelming experience that to do any more would be unbearable. It made me feel very comfortable from the beginning that my problem isn't unique. Having boxes of photos mixed with a letter from an old friend, or maybe a Matchbox car or some other thing, they were able to kind of just put my mind at ease that my personal life wasn't going to be laughed at. And then they really did a great job in helping me understand that they would own it. They would take over. They would be able to find the photos, organize them, group them together, and then we would work together to try to decide which pictures were worth saving and which might need to be discarded.
We moved partly as a result of the COVID virus, which has caused us to really scale back doing do-it-yourself projects and workshops. And we've shifted all of that do-it-yourself resources from in-person events to our books and a very active YouTube channel which has a lot of tutorials on there.
My parents were in the process of downsizing, so they have boxes and boxes of pictures and slides. And then we found the film. And I had never seen it before. It had been sitting in a box for years and years. And they said, sure, come on in. And I said to them, I'm not sure what, if anything, is on here. I don't know what condition it's in because it's been in a box for decades. But they took a look at it and they're like, no, it looks good. It probably has something on it, so let's see what we can do. I sat down fully expecting grainy black and white. And all of a sudden, on pops this color video. And then all of a sudden, there he was. And it was my grandfather up close. And he's marching by the camera. And at the end, very end of the film, he's standing there with my great-grandmother. And I just burst into tears because I never met him before. He passed away when my dad was 2 years old. I've seen pictures of him, black and white pictures. So to see him in color, to see him moving and, you know, joking around with his mom and smiling and all of that, living, was just, it blew my mind, and it was so emotional for me. Even though I'd never met him or her, it was still very emotional for me because I knew that for the brief 3 minutes that this film was, I could give my dad back his father and his grandmother for that brief 3 minutes. I took it down to my parents and we put it on, and I told them, well, it's 3 minutes, it's silent. I said, but it's in color. And they're like, great. So we put it on. And, you know, we're all standing around the TV, and my dad's like, oh, this is so nice. And then the minute he saw his dad and his grandmother, the waterworks. And he's not like a overly emotional person. He's a very sentimental person, but I rarely see him cry. So when I saw him cry, I was like, okay, this was worth it, you know?
Ideally, we would love for people to treasure their photo collections, whether it's the historical 100-year-old items all the way to their current pictures they're taking today. And if by using the words photo estate, we can generate a desire on people to actually preserve all of their memories so that they have them in the future for their kids to look at or other family members, I think that we will have accomplished, you know, a core goal is saving memories and saving legacies of families. We really want for families to have that documentation, the photos and the stories available to them today, 10 years from now, and even generations to come.
So Molly really is hitting on the fact that we are a very mission-based company, and we were founded almost 8 years ago with a tagline that said, your story matters. And we still believe that, and we are going to continue to try and make that an active, accessible thing for all families. So many times what we do brings family together. And today's world isn't really big on bringing people together. We're always talking about what's different and what separates us. And so what we get to do really excites families, and you get past all of the separations to this is our story, and this is where we all find a place to belong.
The blue tabs are the major categories. Mm-hmm. The green are the subcategories. And orange are like the sub-categories. And that translates to your digital files in folders and nested folders, as well as albums. It was just that first overwhelming pile was just, there's no way to process this. But now we have this to put
great.
at
That's
a place
great.
you can work with.
Yes.
We organized by year.
When you could.
When we could,
Right.
Yep. And I would say good 3/4 of them we were able to do that. Just, click on the album to go in, and these are some of the slides that we had identified from 56.
I'm really pleased with the way that the organizing has gone, and just the sorting and culling of unnecessary photos, I think. And I'm very impressed with the way it's worked.